Welcome to the podcast with your favorite cash flow guys, Mike and Blaine. Giving you the best advice while having a beer. When you're running a business, there are problems every day. Let Mike and Blaine help you out and guide your way. Cheers to the good times with Mike and Blaine for business, beer, and BS.
Hey, it's Mike and Blaine. You've reached another episode of Mike and Blaine Business, Beer, and BS. I'm Mike Marlin, also known as Cashflow Mike. That is my friend and my partner on this podcast. His name is Blaine Birch. He's the CEO of Dryron, the best cash flow forecasting software on the planet. What's up, man?
Oh man, ready to go today. Excited, chomping at the bit. It's beautiful weather outside, which gives me even more energy. Today, I'm really interested in the topic you came up with today, because I know you're grabbing topics that are super topical, they're trending, and this is the business of loneliness. And that is a really interesting topic, because it's hard to imagine that people are lonely when they have access to just everything at their fingertips. But I think that's probably partly the problem. They got access to everything at their fingertips, but not maybe in real life. So great topic that we're going to dive into later. But before we do that, we got some beer sponsors to thank and also some beer to drink. What are you drinking today?
Hey, I got to tell you, I ran across something. I went to go pick up some beer, and I'm not usually a label person, but this one caught my eye, mainly because I think everybody wants to be like us. When I say us, I'm talking about the 80s, right? In the 70s, 80s, maybe 90s kids. They all want to be like us. Even the teenagers want to be like us. So I saw this label, and I'm going, boom, and it had twofold for me. Not only did it bring me back to 1988, right, high school, senior year, it also it has a connection to a nickname that several of my friends call me. So I'm going to show you just this. Do you know who that is?
Oh, of course I do.
Is that crazy? Iron Maiden has a beer now. That's Eddie, the Trooper,
Eddie.
Right? And it's called Trooper. The beer is called Trooper. Look at that.
Nice.
Everything's Iron Maiden across it, right? Is that crazy?
Nice. That brings back memories. That's awesome.
It's a British style lager. I saw the can. I'm going, hell yeah, I have to get the Iron Maiden beer. So there I am.
That is awesome. Of course, Iron Maiden was, and it was so, those are the albums you hid from your parents, the Iron Maiden ones with Eddie and all that on the front, and then now they could probably be playing it in like the local grocery store, and people wouldn't even notice. Yeah. But at the time, it was so dark, right?
Do you remember how they had the skull and all that come out behind the stage? From behind the stage, over the top of like the band and all that stuff. It was like craziness. It was awesome.
It's just such, and you know what? It's that band is still kicking. They're still around. One of them, I think it's the lead singer, owns a 747 or a jet. I think it's a 747 and flies around. He's a pilot. Really kind of interesting band. You don't think that from the guys from Iron Maiden, but yep, that's the case. So that is a very cool can. Yeah. I'm a little jealous, although the can I got today, it's a really nice design. Like, it's just a beautiful design, even though it's not, it's more minimalist. Because I grabbed this, I've been drinking a lot of these Outer Range lately. Outer Range Brewing Company is out of Colorado. I don't even remember the name. Frisco, Colorado. I don't know. I guess a small town in Colorado, I'm guessing. It's called the Goat Hazy India Pale Ale. And the can, it's just got like cool. A really nice kind of graphic. I wonder if I can get that to focus, because it is a really kind of a cool looking can. Nice typography. I'm always a sucker for nice typography. It's really well done. Great designer that did that. I applaud them on that design. So and a really nice beer. These guys actually make some really good beer. So I'm happy to be drinking this hazy today.
Yeah. So. And don't forget about our beer sponsors, right? The people actually keep us in beer, keep us drinking beer every single, week. I'm going to go with Karen Hairston up in Michigan right now. First of all, best-selling Amazon author. She's got a book out there called Stop Growing Broke, Start Growing Profits, and she can help you put more money back into your pocket from your business. Call her 3S Smart Consulting in Michigan, Karen Hairston.
And Devin, who's the biggest LSU fan on the planet, also was featured, I will say featured, I mean, maybe a bit of a stretch, on Netflix in a documentary, a great picture of Devin cheering for LSU. And Devin keeps signing up again and again to be our beer sponsors. Thanks again, Devin. I really appreciate it.
Hey, don't forget, he was a guest coach on the LSU basketball team.
Yes.
Right?
That's
How
pretty
cool
awesome.
is that? I mean, you get to sit. I mean, and I haven't seen the pictures from this thing yet. So, Devin, if you're out there, share the pictures. I got to see what it's like to see you on the sideline. Probably in a suit. I would think you got to be in a suit, right? Aren't they all in suits now, or are they in track suits? I don't know.
I'm not sure. I don't watch enough basketball to know, except that I know that even the NHL now lets their players wander around not wearing suits, and that was such a tradition. And now they, I don't dress however, which is, I don't know. I kind of miss but I also know that I am not a suit guy. Like, I've got a suit hanging in the closet. I probably haven't worn it in 10, 15 years. I walked into a tailor the other day. I had a little bit of work done on some clothes I had. And when I left, the guy said, "Hey, we can make you a custom made suit." And I said, "Man, I don't have to wear suits." And he just starts laughing and he goes, "Yeah, Scottsdale." Again, so I just, guess what? I don't have to wear a suit. So I'm not going to. It'd be nice to have a nice one, but yeah, anyway, maybe someday.
I actually bought a coat in Scottsdale. It was an expensive old coat. There's an Old Town Scottsdale. It's called like Man, or it's just called Man. The shop, I think, is awesome clothing in there. Go in there, check it out. I bought a jacket out of it. I was going to get a heavier one. I'm like, I don't really wear heavy jackets, so I got a lighter jacket that is fantastic, great fit. I mean, I actually pictured you in some of the clothes that are in this place. So go check it out, Old Town Scottsdale. The place is called Man.
Man, is it in Fashion Square, or is it like outside on one of the strip malls kind of?
No, it's in the Old Town where all the bars and stuff are. It's like right across the street from the bars. And then you go across this little bridge to another where the restaurants are. I don't know. What is that? A little river that goes through there? I don't know.
It's the canal. Arizona Canal, or I think it's called the Arizona Canal. So I'm going to check that out.
Not at the mall. It's across at the bar area, away from the mall.
Away from the mall. Okay, I'll dig it up because I would love to go check it out. I rarely go into shops to buy clothes these days. I just sort of order stuff all the time. But it'd be nice to be able to go in and actually try stuff on and all that stuff.
It is a small business. Woman owns it. She brings in her bulldog. Bulldog is fantastic. A great personal experience. She's just trying to make it in a hard place down there. You know, who's going to that? Oh, you know where the Mantuck.
Oh,
it's
the restaurant. Yeah, I know exactly where that is.
It's right down the street from that place.
Gotcha. I know. Okay, I know exactly which street. There's some really. I haven't been down there in a while, but I remember there's always been some really cool little shops on that street. That's. I'll next time we're down there, I'll have to go check that out.
Yeah, right on. So, all right. So the business of. Oh, by the way, we always miss this, and we always let's talk about subscribing, liking, buying us a beer. If you want. Probably the best $5 you've ever spent on advertising for your company is right here, because not only do we got, we get millions of views, right? I think we can say that. We can say millions of views.
It's true. Well, over 1 million in 25, we had, I'm sure, over 1.5 million views easily. So, no, really heavy on one clip, but that's beside the point. We do have people watching us. So, it's a good deal.
Yes, but you can do it. I mean, you will be there as a part of every show for here till they take us off the internet, which Facebook is heading that way, it seems like, because we said a dirty word. We don't know which one we said, but we said a dirty word, and they're mad at it.
We don't know. They've decided they don't like us right now. So whatever. We haven't really bothered with them too much, but we get, a lot of people watching us is actually on, it's on LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube, and we're on a bunch of different platforms. So if you sponsor us, again, $5 an episode, we have people that have sponsored us through the entire year, all the way out to the rest of the year. So you can jump in and do that as well, or you can buy us a beer and sponsor us once, $5, MikeandBlaine.com. But please also like, subscribe, follow it does help us a ton. A single like on YouTube can actually make a difference because we're beholden to the YouTube algorithms and they just like that kind of stuff.
There you go. Go check us out. All right. Because usually it's just you and I, and we live across the world from each other. So it can get pretty lonely. That's not how the topic comes up. If you're new to the show, you're like going, how do they even come up with these topics? About 10 minutes before before we start filming this, we come up with a topic, and it's usually something that's kind of crossed my mind or stuck in my brain over the course of the week. But this year's theme is all about something that's trending that other people are talking about, not just us, not things that I'm doing or Blaine's doing. It's other people. So
Yeah.
I'm watching the news the other day, and they have like one of those little 90-second clips about AI dating, right? Which led me to believe, I'm like, is this the first time we really tried to tackle our own loneliness? This is where this kind of comes from. Meaning, at this cafe, I think it's probably New York, you go there and they have a computer, laptop, or a screen of some setup where you can upload your own AI companion and have dinner with an AI companion. What's strange is they probably charge you for the AI's dinner.
Yeah, guaranteed.
But you're sitting there just talking to a computer screen of an AI character. Really you're combating loneliness. And what I thought was, is this really what's happening? I mean, I know that we're spending less and less time with other people, but is this the new business economy? Is there a loneliness economy out there? Right? Is what I'm asking. And
Yeah.
I went back and I'm like, I think it's been there for a long time. Even gym memberships can be considered part of the loneliness economy. You go there because you want to be around other people and maybe somewhat with the equipment. But what do you think?
Well, I think it's probably been true for a while, but the COVID shutdown amplified all of it because it so many people were forced inside and then tiptoed their way back, and a lot of it hasn't come back because even there are businesses that failed during that time. And interesting though too is like I like to be outside when we exercise. We go biking all the time. We go walking all the time. I actually have some weights sitting right here on a chair. So I'll try and do a little bit during the week too, because I'm getting old and got to keep things moving. I don't like gyms. I really never have liked gyms, but I did work out in gyms and a little bit in high school and university. And there were people around and I was there with my friends and it was a little bit of a social time because you're hanging out with your friends and BSing and ribbing each other. What I've heard from is today in gyms, everybody's plugged in. Everybody has earphones on. Everybody. So you can be in that gym and you could go every single day for months. And I don't know if you'd ever meet another person except for the person maybe at the front door, because everyone's isolated themselves. And I think that's such a shame. It's like, wow, you finally had an opportunity to interact with people and everyone's plugged in. We go out for walks every night. We walk by people on the street. Everyone says hi. Most of the people, if they're by themselves, are also plugged in and, kind of tuning out the world. So yeah, I can absolutely believe it. And I think it's a real shame because it's like you said with your Trooper beer, it was different in the 80s. It was different in the 90s. It's changed a lot. And for every little thing that's a bit better, there's a lot that's worse though, I think too.
Yeah, I can see that. But I mean, if you think about, people still go there. Sometimes I'll go to a place, not because I'm lonely, but I don't want to be in, like, I'll travel to Utah or whatever. I don't want to be in the hotel by myself. I'd rather go out. Even if I talk to 0 people, there's a buzz, there's an energy, there's a connection. And, we're all like mechanical beings where we feed off of energy, right? And somewhat, you can listen to the same music in your house right there behind you, but you still go to a concert to experience it. And you might not even talk to anybody around you. It
Yeah,
might be
that's
you and Heather, right? So
yeah. It's the vibe, it's the people there, it's um the energy and everything, like you said. I actually think like we go to breweries a lot. I've talked about that. We bike all the time in both in Edmonton and in Arizona here, and we stop by breweries all the time. In fact, walked into Goldwater and it's spring training baseball down here right now. So it's slammed. There's people everywhere. And it was kind of funny because I went up to order the beer and a couple of people, they don't really know who I am, but they recognize me for years.
mhm.
And this look of relief and, hey, man, and you could just tell like, oh, there's
Yeah,
someone we
there's
recognize. It's
somebody.
not it's not everybody coming from the San Francisco game down the block. Like it was kind of funny actually. It just because it was just they liked something familiar, right? But it's not just the beer. In fact, the beer is probably very secondary. We can buy beer, we can bring it home probably half the price or less. But it's the atmosphere and the vibe. And this time of year, there is a lot of energy. And we have made friends at the brewery more than once. In fact, we have friends that we've been to their house. We go to we in Edmonton and we see them maybe not quite every weekend, but pretty close. And they've been over to our house and we met them literally at a brewery because, about the third brewery you show up at and they're right beside you at the next table. You finally go, hey, why don't you guys come and join us? Right. That's really precious because it's hard to meet people like that these days, even if you're out and about. So it's those, I think those places that cultivate that sort of culture of inclusiveness and meeting people and chatting and friendliness are really, really precious because I don't think that's the norm.
Well, I think that's how places like WeWork and any of these co-op places where you go and get a desk or rent a space or do those type of things. I've got friends that have home offices that are super nice, but they
Mhm.
also have one of those offices and not to meet clients. It's just so
No.
they're not sitting in their own office all day long and never interacting with another person except for on a screen. And I
Yeah.
think it's a even if you just say hi, even if you do what, there's a different connection that we have. And what's funny is that you and I, for 6 years, have talked business. We've never talked about, is there a business that offers companionship, offers energy, offers community, right? Is that even a business model?
Well, I think you hit sort of a nail on the head, like the WeWorks of the world. But I think that's a lot of not just the shared workspaces, but like a lot of the accelerator programs and business programs and business events and everything. It's to cultivate these sort of connections between business owners. And like I've been over the years, like we're going back, you know, I don't know, 25 years probably now. Um, I've been on a lot of, trade missions out of Alberta where traveled overseas, traveled all over the world, to different conferences and events and things. Um, and when I look back, it's always the people that I've been on these trips with that are the most important.
Mm.
It's never the people that I seem to meet and network with and all that kind of stuff. Those actually sometimes those are nice, but it's so often it's actually the people on the trip that I become really good friends with. And like there's a friend of mine I've traveled to. Man, I think we were in China together, New York together, South by Southwest, like 20 years, almost 20 years ago together. Um, I think I maybe even met him through one of these trips. I'm not sure if that's when I first met him. I'm talking with him tomorrow, catching up on a call, right? Like this is how business owners and entrepreneurs can interact with other entrepreneurs. And it's so important because we've talked about this before. One of the loneliest places to be is at the top of a business or to be the founder of a startup business. Incredibly lonely and challenging all at the same time. And the only people that really can truly relate to you is other founders, other entrepreneurs.
Yeah, you know what's happened to me, especially since I'll say when I met you, I just left Finnegraph. You know, I was starting off in this kind of world, and I had a thought back then, like, on the internet connected us like crazy,
Mhm.
but yet I have fewer people that I can or do call. My contact list went shorter. Yeah,
Mm,
so think about
yeah,
that. We're more connected than ever, but not by the phone, not by the interpersonal type stuff that we've done in the past. That was
yeah,
a complete shift in my life, right? Is
yeah,
that more connected, but talking to less people.
yeah. I think of this is a pre-COVID, post-COVID, because there was so many rapid changes during that time, right? And I remember before COVID, we would come down to Arizona for the winter. And then as soon as I get back, a month before I get back, I would start getting emails and phone calls and text messages and that, when you back, when you back, when you back. And I remember I would have a list of probably 30 to 40 people that I
Yeah.
would actually have
Uh,
a list. And when I got home, I would email them. And for the first 2 months I was home, twice a week, 3 times a week, I was out for coffee, lunch, beer, whatever, to catch up with people in person. And then sort of COVID hit and everything kind of felt weird. And you get out of those habits and it's slowly crept back. But like I was actually just added someone to my list today that reached out to me and I added them to the list and I looked and went, "Ah," like my list now today, I looked at it, it was like 6 people or 7 people. Like I better take a few minutes here and go through and start adding a bunch of people because um there's such critical times. I enjoy those times so much. And there's no excuse to get out of the habit. And someone has to be the instigator. And so that's me. I'll take that role on and make sure that when I get home this year, it'll be at least 20 people, not, you know, 2 or 3, right?
yeah. So it's funny that you talk about COVID, right? My whole life now is divided into BC and AC.
It is. It's so
Yeah.
weird,
Oh, I
right?
do. Yeah, it's crazy. It was around that time that I bought a Peloton. Now think about that. It's just an exercise bike, but it cost $2,500. Not only did it cost $2,500, which is more than most exercise bikes, there's
Yeah.
a subscription of another $40 on top of it, right? If you want it. Of
Yeah.
course I get the subscription. I'm thinking now as you're talking this BCAC, I'm like going, why the hell did I get that a subscription? Ew, I wanted to do stuff with other people.
Yeah.
I wanted to
Yeah.
be there was still that energy to wanna be with another person, watch them work out, talk to them. I had guys that we would actually connect on Peloton and do workouts together.
Oh, wow.
Is
I
that
gotta say,
crazy?
I'm a bit the opposite. When COVID hit, I'm just like, I got onto like Amazon or something, ordered 2 folding stationary bikes I could actually stick in the closet because I'm looking at it going, I ain't planning to use this long, and we're only gonna be home hopefully 1 winter where we're stuck. And so we got these cheap ass little pedal bikes, and we set them upstairs in front of a TV, and then we just like binge watched TV shows for that entire winter, pedaling and probably not getting very much exercise. So we probably would have been more effective getting Peloton, but then these things probably cost like $100. Like it costs like nothing. And now I don't even know where they are. I think we probably got rid of them by now because it's
Yeah.
never use them.
Well, we still have the Peloton. I think we gave up on the subscription because after about 2 years of inactivity, like, maybe we don't need that $40 a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we were all in, man, for like 2 years straight, all in, doing workouts. She still has it. It's in her office. I probably should be in mine, but I'm in the front of the house, so it's like neighbors might see it. You know? They go, "Oh my god, he works out," and they'll be surprised, and everybody's like going, "He doesn't work out." It's in some people's houses, it's just a clothes hanger, right? That's where they hang their clothes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But we even bought a kick-ass sound bar. If somebody's on that Peloton, you hear it across the whole house.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. It really was. But it was just another way to connect. You know, when we talk about like that connection, you've seen dating apps been around for decade plus. Oh,
Yeah.
did I ever
Yeah.
tell you how Tinder started or not started, how they grew so fast? Ever tell you that story?
No, it sounds familiar, maybe, but no, remind me because you may have mentioned on a show
All
before.
right, so Tinder had an app. It's a dating app. You know, it's what all the memes are: swipe left, swipe right. But at first, they went to college campuses, right? And they would take like a party bus or a bus of some sort to a college campus and offer a free happy hour. Come here at 3 o'clock. We're going to take you down to this bar. We have a popular bar in town, and they would pack a bus. So think 50, 100 people on a bus or whatever. I don't even know how many people you can get on a bus. We'll just call it 100.
Mm-hmm.
But the price to get the free hour or 2 hours worth of drinks was you had to download the app. You get on the bus, you download the app. So think about that. They're getting downloads like crazy. And then all of a sudden people would get on the bus and they're playing with the app, and then they see their friend pop up, and then another friend. They see people on the bus starting to see each other on this app.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how and then people came back from the happy hour and said, "Hey dude, you guys seen this app?" And all of a sudden it just multiplied from there. And they just did that from campus to campus to campus. But these are dating apps, and there's a stigma around it. Like, I know people my age now says, I'm not getting on no dating app. Who knows what's going to happen? But so there was a dating app that evolved after Tinder called Bumble. Are you familiar with Bumble?
I've heard the name, but I don't know what the difference is.
All right, so in Tinder, Tinder was that it was just kind of a mutual match. I like you, you like me, and then it would connect you so you could talk to that person through a messaging on the app. But guys would go through there and just say they like everybody. And girls, for whatever reason, girls didn't like that. They wanted more control. So Bumble was a female version that gave the girl all the control. The girl had to say she liked you. You're just out there. She had to say she liked you, and she kind of initiated the contact or allowed the contact. That makes sense?
Yeah, no, and I think there's definitely a logic to it that seems to make sense because, it's probably what happens in the bar too.
Yeah. So, but think about these. I mean, I don't know. Dating apps are probably the thing. I have no idea. And Courtney said it all the time, and I don't know anyway. But don't make me do dating apps.
I saw a graph the other day on just one like a news post, and it was the I don't know what the title was, but it was about dating apps, and I saw this graph, and I thought it was quite fascinating because what it was the dates like in years. And you can see the way people meet now, it just was like this line that goes way, 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 way up. And meeting like through friends and meeting in the bar and everything has gone down, 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 down. And it's almost like the only way it seems that people meet each other now is through an app. And it just feels like that seems like such a shame. Like I met my wife, through a friend at a bar. That's just how it was, right? It feels really strange to me. I can't even imagine just seems so odd.
Yeah, but that's the business of loneliness, right? The only thing they sell, you get, I guess you get more access to more features or whatever it is, or you can do more likes or whatever. The only thing they sell is the other person, right? I'm lonely. I want to talk to another person. I want to be with another person. I want to be in a relationship with another person.
Yeah.
Well, think about what I just said. I'm lonely. I want to be with another person, talk to another person, whatever. It might not always be for a relationship that ends in marriage or whatever, right? So, I mean, and the stigma behind it is just a sex app.
Yeah.
But Bumble has done something different. They just spun off, or recently, I don't know how long ago, they spun off a Bumble BFF. Where
okay.
It's not a dating app. It's like, I want to go hiking, but I don't have anybody to go hiking with. Right.
Yeah.
Right. That type of stuff. Right. Meaning you can just connect for people that have the same, not necessarily I don't want to date Blaine, but maybe we meet on Bumble BFF and we become friends because we like to hike together. And in my circle here in Texas, I never find anybody who wants to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not going,
probably
damn.
not the best example with you hiking. It's probably more like I want to drink a beer.
You already know
Sit on the patio.
You already know I gave up on Peloton.
Yeah, that's probably worked better for both of us. Sit in the backyard, drink beer, and listen to loud music. But
yeah, I mean that's how we met Pat. Cornhole with Pat, right? Think about it. I would have had to get on Bumble BFS to find a Pat.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the only thing they're selling, and in most cases is free, unless you want expanded features, I guess, in the app. And I don't know even how that works, but maybe you can only connect with one person a day or something. I don't know. But think about it. They are selling somebody's loneliness. That's the problem they're solving, I guess.
Yeah. Ultimately, the problem they're solving. And it just sounds so foreign. Like I, as a kid, I remember you have friends. You're always out with a bunch of people. Kids were out on the street till dark all the time and on weekends, and you met people all of the time. And that sort of carried on to, high school. Early in the university, we were at a restaurant called like Maxwell Taylor's. It was a bit like a TGA Fridays, complete 100% ripoff. We were there like almost every night. We knew everybody there. We knew all the waiters. We knew we were always there. And it was always like you're out in person all of the time. And it's somehow tragic to see how different it is and how much of a struggle it is for people just to meet other people. It's hard for me to relate to, except that it's although what I find kind of interesting is I think what you have with your neighbors and what I have with my neighbors seems so usual and obvious. Actually, I think it's quite rare from what I hear. Knowing your neighbors, having your neighbors over, going over for a drink to your neighbors, going playing cars, doing whatever, seems to be quite a rarity. And I'm shocked by that because I grew up with my parents, they would know the neighbors. They just don't know all the neighbors. We know all of our neighbors here in Edmonton. We're, and we get together socially at times and all that. Why has that changed? And has it changed as much as as I think, or as much as I hear?
It is hard. And don't think I like all my neighbors. That's just and we don't have to. We don't have to like all our neighbors. But I'm trying to think what changed. And I think it's that we're all kind of protective of what we have or built. And I'm not talking about material stuff. I'm talking about our time is valuable now. And although I love to waste time, and you've seen me do it 100 times, I do not want my time wasted. And there's times I get involved with conversations where almost immediately I know I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
And that's where we talk. We had a whole episode on being a chameleon one time. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We talk about you have to be a chameleon because that's how people connect. I mean, the reason why you have a best friend is that you guys talk to each other in a way that you like to talk, right? You connect on things. You don't have to agree on things, but you connect just on the way you debate. I mean, you and I don't always agree on things, and there's been some off-air tension. But I like the way we can resolve a problem. I like the way that we can work through it or agree to just say, hey, yeah, you think this, I think that, and move on.
Yeah.
That's what's missing in the world. So every time now people go out there and are afraid to state an opinion because they don't want to be judged and it's an uncomfortable situation. And I prefer community where I can, maybe I'm dumb. Maybe I don't know something. And I'll say, hey, I'll make a dumb statement and people correct it. And I'm like, going, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. And then I change my mind. That's the world I like to live in. Now the community. I don't want it to be online though. I want it to be where I can go, no shit, and pat you on the back, and give you a hug or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I crave. And maybe that's the 70s kid in me.
Well, I think our whole generation, and the thing is, it feels like all the generations before us, at least as as reasonably far back as you can see, um, cherish being in person and are more comfortable with being in person and want to see people and talk with people and spend time with people. And it feels like some of that is lost. And I wonder if it's coming back. But that's what all these businesses are. A lot of them seem to be trying to get people back together,
Well, I
talking
mean,
with them, right?
yeah, you said it when you go in there, the relief when you see somebody you already know.
Yeah.
Businesses now are selling that. You can buy a membership to a paid mastermind. Why would I do that?
Mm.
Why would I pay extra? Like, I'm already in the group, but now you have this higher, more elite group that I can pay for.
Yeah. I get people read, but I think the thing is, I just look at it and I'm like, and I ignore it. I delete the email or whatever. I don't consider it. But that's because I still talk with other entrepreneurs all the time. I still meet with them. I go out for drinks with them. I go out in person with them. But does this next generation that hasn't grown up with that and the one that's here now, will they do that? Because I think it's incredibly important. It's incredibly important to not just chat with people on Zoom. It's incredibly important to chat with them over a drink or something, because it's not just a limited time frame talking business. You actually there's more to it. It's relationship building rather than transactional.
Yeah, well, the mastermind. The reason why I think people, and it's a business model in itself. It's an advanced tier, but people rarely leave someplace where they think they've achieved a status. Right? You don't give up on the status you achieve and the relationships that you have because you're seeing the same people. They're more likely to be there. It isn't
Mhm.
like I go to the gym. Sometimes in the gym, I'll see the same person. Another times I'm like, I don't see anybody I've recognized in here. Same
Yeah.
thing with the bar. Same thing with the brewery, right? Restaurant. But in this mastermind, you're more likely to see the same person over and over and over again. That's why people join Facebook groups and LinkedIn groups and those type of things. It's around the same people having the conversation.
You know what I find really interesting, because we go to a lot of different breweries. Like, we have our favorites, and we have our favorite restaurants that we kind of are regulars at, but we still go to other ones. We just want to see what they're like, explore it, go somewhere different, new change of scenery or whatever. Um, and that's where the business part really comes into it, because you see now there's so many breweries going under. They probably overexpanded. There was too many of them, and then COVID, of course, had a real impact on them, and the next generation that maybe doesn't drink as much beer has an impact on them. And why do some of them thrive and some don't? Maybe cans and bottles in store might be more quality of product, maybe the labeling, design, that sort of thing. But the breweries themselves, where it's like a brew pub, um, I suspect, like, why are some just slammed with people all the time and some aren't? You could say, well, it's the atmosphere, the environment, everything, but sometimes it's like, you know what? Those guys are slammed all the time and it isn't that exciting. And then this one over here, beautiful place, but it's not that busy. And I actually think um maybe there's a bit of a connection where your culture and your team and everything um should be about encouraging repeat customers and encouraging conversation between customers, and what kind of events and how is it laid out and everything, to be able to to build out a kind of a culture there, rather than, again, just sort of transactional, right?
Yeah, what's funny is you described, the vibe, right? It's a vibe, but some people like that. If it's slammed, it wasn't your vibe, but it's everybody else's. And
Yeah.
what you're describing is I need to belong somewhere, but it's not here,
Yeah.
right? If you feel that way.
Yeah. If you
So
feel that way. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, if you feel that way, and it's the same way on the internet when people are like trolls, they're always looking for a place. They're looking for a place to belong. I don't think people will always be, they don't always want to be the shittiest person on the internet. I don't think that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody wants to be that. I don't
Yeah.
think so. And what I've known just from doing this with you over the last 5 years is that, the internet can give us followers, but it's given us no friends. It's given us, we already had the friends.
Yeah.
So think about that, right? Is like it gave us a bunch of followers. It gave us people to watch our videos. It gave us people to do, to listen to what we say and then have an argument about, have an argument in the comment section. But we gained zero. We didn't give money. We didn't get friends out of it.
Yeah.
So the internet, that's what's missing in the internet.
Yeah, and there's an opportunity there. Like, I'm just sort of thinking, like, there's still, it feels like it's the internet it's like it's so saturated. The amount of content is so saturated. There's still an opportunity because it in a way, it's the bar is set so low. And then when you're talking about even the sort of loneliness side, it still feels to me like the bar is set really low. And it's not an easy problem to fix. It's not an easy problem to change, but there's opportunity out there for people that are ambitious and see a new way to address loneliness. And I think a lot of it is get people together. How do you get people together in person? I do think there's a lot of value to that. Maybe that, and there's that's not always possible. I understand that, but I do think that's what seems to be missing. And a lot of it, I think, seems to be missing for a younger generation that didn't grow up with it. So they don't go out of their way to find that companionship and that camaraderie.
Well, think about this. We're thinking about loneliness as a business model, right? And we talk about, there's ways to do it. There's definitely ways to do it. You got to figure out how to solve the problem of loneliness with what you provide. Now, I just asked Chelsea. I just asked Chelsea. And it actually, is it Chelsea? Because it's 5 now. Because Chad was 3, Chelsea was 4. We don't have a name for 5.
Chester.
All right.
I gotta confess something. I've now changed over to Gemini because I found out we're actually paying for it already with our G Suite account.
Oh.
So I don't know. I gotta have to have a different name for Yoda. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So it said in the last survey, managed healthcare is the source. 57% of Americans report feeling lonely. Think about that.
Wow.
Half of Americans have reported that they feel lonely. If that's not a target market, then I don't know what is, right? So are you really selling an exercise program? Are you selling, in Peloton's world, community? Yeah. I give you a video. I see everybody else. It's, I can connect with you and we can become friends on your app. Think about ways in your business today that you build community, right? I think it's powerful that it's a way to retain, reduce churn, and get people to stay longer because people don't leave when they're connected.
Yes, but I am going to talk a little bit about this because maybe this works. I got an invitation this week. I don't want to name the platform because I'm not 100% sure I'm remembering which platform it is, but it's one of the platforms we use for business. And it was asking me to join this community, and it had all of this. They're really excited about the community. And I think it may have been our payment processor. But all I remember is looking at it and going, you can't build a community around. I do not care. This is freaking transactional. You do what you need to do. I pay you for it. I need you to understand that I in no way, shape, or form want to talk with someone else is buying that same product when it's like a purely transaction. This is like trying to, would you like to join a community around the toilet parts we create? No, I do not. I don't need to meet another person that bought the same flapper valve that I did, right? So some companies I think are really well positioned for that. And then some I think went to a conference, heard, start a community, and they will do it and it will fail miserably because they don't understand that nobody cares and no one's joining your community because the ties together are not the type of thing that you can build a community around.
Yeah, well, I bet you would join one about forging knives or building skateboards.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Is right. There are some, actually, I don't know if I would, to be completely honest, but there are some where it makes sense because it's a hobby or it's aspirational or it's like around beer, around food, even around business, but business where I get to talk with other founders of tech companies and share war stories. That makes sense. But I do not need a community around my email software because other people use the same ones or around, I don't even know, my monitor. Did you buy the monitor that I'm looking at now? Did you buy I don't even see a brand name. I don't even know what this thing is. Big ass monitor. Do you want to meet with other people that have also bought from Sony or whatever the hell this is, right? No, that's not how you build a community anymore. Like if I sit down at a brewery and we've actually met friends there, that makes sense. But I'm probably not as interested in a community when I pop over to the grocery store to buy some, my weekly groceries. Just because other people buy groceries doesn't mean I need to be friends with them. So, I think there's a time and place where it makes sense. I think there's a time and place where you're wasting resources and time trying to jump on a bandwagon that nobody is going to jump on.
Yeah. So let me try to twist that into a business. Meaning that we all have two places we go, right? And sometimes they're one place, but we do two different things. We have a home, we got work. I think if I'm a small business today, that's not in my home, right? Small business today, I'm looking to create that third place for somebody. And the way you do that, like in the small businesses, you recognize somebody, you learn. I told you I was watching Shoresy, right?
Okay.
You got to go back and watch it. Huh?
I watched it the other night. Now I will say that I flipped it on after I went to bed. I flipped it on. I fell asleep partway through, so I don't even know what happened. But it was funny. The first while I was watching, I'm like, yeah, okay, it's a pretty funny show.
So the fifth season ender, when you get that far along in it, you and I should get those jerseys that they're wearing on the hockey rink. You and I should get those.
Okay,
but anyway, that's a different story.
Describe them because I've seen episode one of episode.
I'm not going to describe them.
Series 1 or whatever. So I'm 1,000 miles away from that. What are the jerseys like?
I mean, I'm not going to describe them. You got to just go watch it. You just got to watch it.
I will watch it. And I'll see if they're a better.
Huh?
What's that?
We need to get one for each of us.
Okay. I'll have to watch it. I'll have to find those jerseys. I'm curious if they have the nothing will beat the Charleston Chiefs jerseys. I don't think.
This is
we went. Okay, we went because we went when I was, I don't know, high school, maybe early university. Halloween would come up, you'd get a few friends, and you would be the Charleston, the what were the name of those guys from the Charleston Chiefs, like from Slapshot, tape on glasses, fake blood everywhere. It'd be hard to top that, right? Especially from nostalgia.
And I don't even think that it's a funny thing. They're actually really good. I think they're good. But what he's talking about, Shorzy talks about, is the community, about the sense of belonging, about being somewhere, and the way hockey players, connect, and what culture feels like inside that locker room between the team. And the message is really clear about you needing somebody to share moments with, right?
Mhm.
And it resonated with me. I'm not big on, some of the comedy in there. It's funny, but there's some really deep messaging that goes all the way through that series that I think is underappreciated. And
Mm.
I'm like, wow, that's really powerful.
I will watch it. I am going to tell you, okay, because back in the day, like beer league hockey, and that's where you saw the boys all the time or whatever. But I will tell you, there's one time a friend of mine and I were visiting my cousin, and he was in small town Alberta, and he said, bring your hockey equipment along. So we brought our hockey equipment along, and I kid you not, we were playing because they threw the jerseys out to us. We were playing for the Standard Suds against the Bicycle Goons. And one of the guys on our team, his number on his jersey was .08. I'm like, okay, this is like old time hockey right here. Like this, it is just the funniest. You could not get more.
That's awesome.
Just rec league hockey than that. You would go to a town, there was nothing there. It's the middle of the prairies, middle of the night in rural Alberta, snow everywhere. And there's a rink, just a big Quonset with a rink, and there's something really, really kind of funny about that. Really charming, I guess, or nostalgic.
Right on. Hey, this is really interesting. This is here's my bottom line on this. I think that there is a business opportunity if you can build a community, if you can create something that makes somebody feel seen, heard, a part of something. So they're not just alone in front of a screen all the time in their life. You can build a business that they will appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely. But pick your battles, because it is not whatever business you have, build a community. So there's an opportunity, but I think the way you do it well is you obsess around your potential customer. You obsess around the problem. You obsess around their problem and solving their problem. You do not try and take a template and just, without any thought, roll it out with your brand thinking it's going to work, because that's not solving a problem. That's solving you think you're solving your problem, but if you're not solving theirs, they're not going to come. We will build it, they will come does not work. We've seen that a million times.
You're talking directly to neighbor Breger, the guy that does the Eclipse glasses. Don't build a community over people that want to buy Eclipse glasses.
Exactly. You will not. Actually, okay, I got to say.
That's one that could work, though.
There might be an opportunity there, because you could build a community not necessarily around Eclipse, but what if you built a community around, people that loved astronomy, and there's a wider community, but still niche. There actually might be an opportunity there for Breger. But the question is, would that actually sell any more glasses for him? Or is it likely when an eclipse comes, people go to Google and do a search, right? So that's a challenge where you have to look at it and say, does it actually make sense for your business?
Yeah, don't create a job, an unpaid job.
Don't create an unpaid job. But on the other side, if you own a business, let's say like a restaurant, a brewery, a coffee shop, a record shop, the places where it just fits like a glove, there's an opportunity there for you to build a community and bring in more people and get them connecting to each other, talking with each other, talking about your business, showing up at your business. There's an opportunity for you to have an unfair advantage over your competitors when it's the right situation, I think.
Yeah. So let's see if we can build a community. If you like what we're doing here,
buy us a beer.
Buy us a beer. Go to YouTube, go to Facebook, like, subscribe, tell your friends, help us build a community, because we're lonely.
Yeah. Very lonely, and we need more beer to help with our loneliness. So mikeandblaine.com, $5 a beer.
Check out their website at mikeandblaine.com. Then subscribe to the podcast and buy these guys a beer.